On this week's Kirkwood and Dunn, we are talking about the Final Four, the executive order about transfer rules and how that will impact Indiana football. Finally, looking at Indiana football spring practice and reacting to some of your comments that you leave on YouTube and Spotify. Speaking of YouTube and Spotify, please like or subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps out the channel. And comment below because we do love reacting to the things you all have to say about our episode. Follow us on X, Instagram, or TikTok at Kirkwood and Dunn on all channels. Let's go.
Powered by Riverside.
Welcome to Kirkwood and Dunn, where we accept the challenge of not blaming everything that's happening in the Final Four on Indiana basketball decision makers.
No, we don't accept that challenge. No, we don't. That is,
we failed the challenge.
No. That is absolutely an opportunity to turn every single thing into a gripe session about the last 25 years of Indiana basketball.
We talked about this a couple episodes ago. Like, we can't just, like, our people come to our podcast and they're like, oh, they're going to talk about football. They're going to, like, maybe, like, make some funny comments about basketball, but, like, it's completely negative. But Tim, the reason why I started that way is because it is impossible to watch what's happening with the Final Four and not talk about it or allude to it. It's a challenge. It literally would be a challenge. If any podcast, any Indiana-centric podcast you're listening to does not have the what could have been with Dusty May conversation, which also affects the Braylon Mullins conversation, then they're winning the challenge, but they're completely ignoring what is the most relevant thing about Indiana sports right now in terms of in March. Or April, I guess it is now.
Right, because in a world where I'm about to freaking cry to start this episode, in a world where Dusty May is the basketball coach and we get Byron Mullins, then, like, we're in the Final Four in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean,
that's on the table.
The Kirkwood and Dunn account last night tweeted out, it's crazy that a 1976 team member cost us an opportunity to do this in 2026. And a lot of people's response is like, well, there's no guarantee that these Michigan guys would have come to Indiana. And I'm like, you think they're going to Michigan for the Block M?
Right.
You think that Michigan has more money to spend on basketball?
You think they just like the Zingerman's Deli? Get out of here.
Yeah. Like, I love Ann Arbor. It's a great place to live, but trust me, their players are not going, oh, it's a great place to raise a family. Let's move to Ann Arbor.
No, of course not. They're going there for the basketball coach.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. You're right. But listen, we have to, I keep coming back to it a ton because it is, I mean, Indiana football is interesting to some degree, but it have zero consequence for the next 6 months. And the entire referendum on the state of the basketball program is like in full force. We see it. We see every missed opportunity that we've had for a number of years. And it's because of previous decision makers with some very poor choices. And those have compounded. And now we are all just sitting at home twiddling our thumbs, wondering why we can't win 21 games in a season or beat Northwestern once. Like, we are so far away from success from a basketball perspective, and yet it seems somewhat attainable. Maybe not like 5-4, but like all we had to do was make a few right decisions. Like just a couple of them.
That welcome to this era of college sports.
Yeah, it would have taken all of the right decisions to get to a point to be like winning a national title, but like we could have gone 1 for 7 and maybe have made the tournament in terms of all these decisions. Byron Mullins would have helped. Hiring Dusty May obviously would have helped. Like, there's all of these things have gotten us to this point where we're at ground zero, and it really sucks watching college basketball, knowing how far away the Indiana basketball team is away from that type of success, contrasting it with where the football team is, which is like absolutely at the pinnacle, at the entire other end of the spectrum. It's a wild place to be living.
And there were conversations last night about Indiana basketball fans. Would they trade? They traded, made a deal with God to get an Indiana football national championship, but it cost them X, Y, or Z. I would take the deal every single time. And I'm a college college football guy, so obviously that's going to be my centric. But Indiana should make that deal every single time because of where the revenue and sports are going. But having said all that, Tim, quick Kirkwood and Dunn ranking. Let's rank the 3 impactful storylines for Indiana basketball here. So the 3 that I'm going to have you consider, and you can take the first pick, is, and this will be number 3. We always do it in reverse order. Ben McCollum, not hiring him. Scott Dolson not hiring him in the last cycle. Braylon Mullins, UConn, not getting recruited, or supposedly Woody forgetting his name. And Dusty May, number 1, not hiring him after. And this is very clear because there's a lot of Dusty May didn't want to come. Yeah, when he was at Michigan, like after 1 year, yeah, he didn't want to come because he had it going at Michigan. We had a chance with a mediocre basketball coach and Mike Woodson that we could have fired him and hired him when he was at FAU.
Yeah,
that's a different discussion.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
it was about the missed opportunity at FAU.
Your 3.
The third would be Braylon Mullins. While great,
amen.
There is ample talent within the state. Some that we have, we got Trace Jackson Davis. That was fantastic. And we got a Romeo Langford. Didn't quite work out very well. But, it is kind of hit or miss. And ultimately, Braylon Mullins is probably going to go to he probably should try to go to the NBA after this season. But, the impact is minimal. 2
also, we rotate rankings on this show, Timber.
You said me. Just Tim, go do it.
You said 3-1. You do 3-1. I'm doing 2.
Okay. I want to roll it back. I think you said Tim do the rankings
number 2.
real quick.
We're going to do number 2. But you're right on number 3 because I'm sorry if Woody recruits Braylon Mullins and he's here and we make the play-in game. Right.
Or you're right. We're 11 seed, whatever.
And number 2 mistake is going to be, in my pick, is Dusty. No, I'm just kidding. Ben McCollum, obviously.
Yeah.
You have a generational coach at number 1, Ben McCollum at number 2. And that's I think it's clear. It is pretty, it's never come out publicly. I've never seen, Zach Osterman tweet an article, what we know about the first time around in Indiana basketball searches. I know that. But it's
because
pretty
we've
well
never
known
gotten
Quinn
anything
Buckner,
like that.
Yeah. And it's pretty well known that the power structure of some old alumni players, and especially those who have been involved in university leadership, had some heavy influence on the Mike Woodson situation overall, from hiring to when he was going to be let go. So I want to be very clear about that. I blame Scott Dolson for the Ben McCollum mistake. I don't blame Quinn Buckner for that. So but it is a reality that's the situation that we're in. And I blame us as a podcast who said Ben McCollum's brand of basketball is really boring. We're blame. We know that the fans at Indiana University are to blame for what's going on Twitter tells us all the time that the reason why we are not good and haven't been good is because of the fans. So I want to take some blame on this.
I don't want to take any blame. As an Indiana fan, I believe I am right. And Ben McCollum was high on my list. My personal list, Ben McCollum was right up there, along with Grant McCaslin, along with
you are acting like you're not
and
to blame.
Todd Golden.
You are to blame. Todd Golden.
Todd Golden still high on my list. Just for the record.
You're really stalking him, trying to get him to come to Indiana. That's true.
False narratives out there. People trying to get me down. But everything has been a missed opportunity. And it's actually kind of crazy how many missed opportunities there have been, both from a player side, coaching side, timing on all of these things. And, it's going to be a while before it gets better, unfortunately. Now, there's been plenty of exciting things. I won my bet about Trent Sicily coming back. Okay, that's great.
You did.
We still have 3 top 75 guys coming in next year. Okay, that's some pretty good talent. Problem is going to be sophomore Trent Sisley and 3 freshmen. So we've seen how that can work out sometimes in March in particular. It could be a rough start to the season. Who knows? I think the team success probably isn't going to be great, but hopefully it's at least like the seeds of something better getting planted next season. And then we got to try to be really successful in transfer portal. I don't know if that's going to happen. Because again, if you're a transfer student, I mean, or if you're a good transfer, you're going, I don't see success at Indiana. I'm going to get paid almost no matter where I go. Why am I going there? You know, it's somebody who Indiana's in a poor leverage position in terms of transfer players. Like they have some opportunity to get good players, but they're going to have to really overpay for them probably.
Who would be the new hires in college basketball right now that have the momentum to like convince people like in year one, let's completely turn around outside of Will Wade at LSU?
Well, there hasn't been a ton made yet. That's the
North Carolina's still open,
we have North Carolina's still open. Bill Self decided to go back to Kansas and still coach a year, so that kind of leaves some other things.
But my point is,
what's his face at Arizona just decided to stay, so like there's not a lot of changeover until somebody gets that North Carolina job.
And if they hire a sitting head coach, then yeah, the dominoes are going to fall. But the reality is that Darren DeVries has an opportunity to go into a market that it's not like 4 big jobs came open that are going to have a ton of NIL behind them. Like even mid-tier jobs didn't come open this year. Like Creighton, Auburn's now first full seat. Like he has no excuse. Yeah. Like you're saying, and you're right. Like Indiana doesn't necessarily have the momentum, but a lot of these guys, to the detriment of something we're going to talk about later, is like they're mercenaries. They're hired for 1 year. Like they're not looking for long-term success. So you can turn it around in 1 year, which is what you and I have been yelling to be critical of the first season of Indiana basketball. So Carr and DeVries have an opportunity to take advantage of that, and they should. And if they don't, especially when we have 135 teams in the NCAA tournament next year, and we still miss the tournament, then
oh my God,
here we are. So let's talk. I have another topic I want to talk about the Final Four weekend, but we'll get to that in just a second. Indiana basketball, you tweeted out at Hoosier Connect that it was time to throw money at Flory Badunga from Kansas, who declared for the draft and is eligible. Tim, I have not seen his name linked to Indiana other than just like random Twitter accounts like at TB Hoosiers throwing money at him. But is there a guy that's like the apple of your eye? I know Jalen Harrelson, Notre Dame transfer, was hanging out with Trent Sisley this weekend at a tournament. Is there another guy that you're like, do you have a Nick Marsh? Is Flory Badunga?
It's Flory Badunga. Yeah, absolutely. It's Flory Badunga. I mean, the guy's from Kokomo. Like, I mean, he's really from another country, but like played high school in Indiana. And we're not getting him. I know that. That's, follow me for the fun tweets where we dream on my timeline.
We said that about Nick Marsh. Like, it wasn't like so much that Indiana couldn't get Nick Marsh. It's just, Indiana's never got. But Nick
Indiana
Marsh.
Football was better than speaking than Indiana basketball is, right? So like,
really?
But
the most obvious statement ever made on this podcast.
But the transfer portal window opened before the national title game. Pump the fucking brakes. Yeah, I know. No shit. Talking even like in December before we had even won the Big Ten title game. Yes, fact. But the reason I also tweeted it with the gif of the like old-timey cartoon of the kid throwing cash out the window is like they would have to like nearly double the next best team's offer to get Flory Badunga to come to Indiana. Like he's probably going to get from like whoever the North Carolina head coach is $8 million. I like truly wouldn't be shocked if it was $8 million at all. I bet you Indiana would have to pay him like 11, maybe not double. Right?
I think he goes pro or he goes back to Kansas. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, he entered the transfer. I mean, he could not go to the transfer. He could go pro. I don't know if he's going to go pro because he can't shoot free throws. But like,
But no, my point is like he made that transfer portal stuff when the Bill Self speculation was going on, and now that Bill Self's back, I bet Kansas is going to load up for 1 year. Bill Self is obviously
he could
his
go
time
back, yeah.
on coaching isn't there, and like
he could go back, and it's probably probably a good leverage play for him, at all, right? Like, if you don't like your job, go get another offer, and then you can get a raise. So like, he may not go anywhere at all, but like to pluck Fiore Badunga away from Kansas would take, legitimately, it might take double-digit millions for Indiana. So it's not going to happen, but like we saw what it really looks like when you don't have a big man to play in the Big Ten conference. It looks bad. It is rough city. So it's probably not going to be Flory Badunga. Man, I can't say the poor guy's name too much. But that has to be the biggest priority. Let Sicily and let the freshmen run on the wings and at the point or whatever. But like the big man is needed so desperately.
All right. So another storyline out of the Final Four didn't happen in Indianapolis. By the way, is the Final Four in Indianapolis? You live in Indy. Has that been like a cool scene? Like, have you been going out and seeing stuff?
Yep. Yeah. They took over the downtown park. The Chainsmokers played not only last night, but also like Friday night in the park, free concert. It has been very, very busy around town. Even yesterday when it was like raining a lot of the day, like tons and tons of people out and about. So it's been a lot of fun to have the Final Four here.
Have you done seen anybody famous or anything like that?
Only Boban Marjanovic, which was great. I saw him walking out of Cafe.
Easy to spot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, surprisingly, I mean, he's easy to spot because he's got like a goofy looking face, but he didn't seem that tall. Like, obviously taller than everybody else, but I was sort of like, I was driving by and he was on the street and I was just like, he didn't look 9 feet tall, which is what I expected him to look like. Yeah. But he just looked like a normal, like 6'10" guy, which he might actually only even be like 6'10". But I do think he's maybe a little bit bigger than that. But like, he didn't look that tall. But I was like, that's Boban. I can see him very clearly from a mile away.
One of the big things that came out Friday night was this clip right here. Let me show it for the people.
Down here. The officials will hold the players now. Dawn and Gino getting into it a little bit on the sideline as Gino has to be held back.
For those listening on the audio podcast, those are 2 clips mashed up. The first one was from the game broadcast, and then the second one was another angle of Dawn Staley saying that she would beat Gino's ass. Tim, who would win in a fight, Dawn Staley or Gino Auriemma?
Dawn Staley would beat Gino Auriemma's ass. I've got Dawn Staley in 3 rounds TKO. Easy. Might even be 2
3
rounds.
rounds. Good job for Gino. 72
Yeah, I mean,
years
Gino's got a little bulk and heft to him, but ultimately
He
I
does.
think he gets pretty winded pretty quick. But I don't think Dawn Staley 1,000% to take on Gino Auriemma.
I am here for the women's in the WNBA, which my wife is a WNBA expert. If we ever need a WNBA insider, we're going to ask Marissa to come on to talk to us about the WNBA. But WNBA is like a Bravo show. Like they're all sleeping with each other. The women's college basketball, the rivalries from like Pat Summitt to Gino to Dawn Staley is electric. Like I am here for it. Gino is an a-hole. He was an a-hole to Pat Summitt back in the day, and now to Dawn Staley. And is there ever been more of a like we don't the criticism of people identity politics and everything? Is there ever been 2 different cultures represented than Gino Auriemma versus Dawn Staley? And the way the players they recruit, the coaches they have, like it's wild what he did.
Yeah, he went old school white guy and just sort of like, you didn't shake my hand before the game, kid.
Yes,
And
and
now
then
you're like,
there's
yeah.
photos of her shaking hands.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's funny.
And
Which is even more old man. Like, oh, you forgot that we even did the whole thing.
Holly Rose interviewing Gino at the third quarter coaches interview, and he's complaining about his players getting the jersey ripped. And immediately ESPN comes back and they show there might have been a rip, but his player
she ripped it herself. Yeah. Bad luck, Gino. Bad luck.
Does UConn I don't know where UConn is. Is it in Stores? Is it in Stanford? Is it in
Stores?
It's in,
that's where the campus is in Stores.
Okay.
But they sometimes play games in the bigger arena in Stanford, and then they've played in Providence some too. They have the on-campus arena, which only holds so many. So sometimes in their bigger games they play a little bit further away.
Is it just all right, to be a coach here, you got to be a douchebag?
An a-hole? Probably. I mean, that's also the Northeast. That's just what they call Sunday dinner. What are you talking about? Trump, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Has Dan Hurley somewhat the fact that he's self-aware, does it soften him a little bit?
I mean, it doesn't bother me. Did you see the clip?
Yeah.
Did you see the clip from Dan Hurley and his mom yelling holy fucking shit, and just
no.
Yeah, so somebody showed it to Dan Hurley because they were talking to Dan Hurley about his head bump into the ref, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, but did you see the house that I was raised in? My mom's in the stands swearing, going up and down and left. So what do you want me to do? I was only given the conditions I was raised in, which was hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah,
that's just the way it goes.
When he's getting interviewed post game, and he said something along the lines of why are they booing? Is it because of the headbutt?
Right.
I laughed. I admit I laughed. It's one of those Kurt Signetti is not this, by the way. If he gets painted like this from people, they're ridiculous. And we'll get to some Kurt Signetti swipes in a little later. He does it a little tongue in cheek
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's way more smirky. Smirk is Kurt Signetti. Dan Hurley's an asshole.
If Dan Hurley's your coach, I get why you like him, right?
Oh yes. Well,
you picked him high in the draft, and I was critical.
And somebody that also had Joakim Noah on his professional basketball team for a long time. Yeah. I loved it. It was great that everybody hated him. I wanted Joakim Noah telling everybody that their city and town was a shithole, and that they have no cultural influence, and that nobody plays ball. I loved Joakim Noah. So when he's your guy, then it's the best. But it does get on your nerves when he's not your guy.
All right, this next topic of conversation, if you want to skip over it, it's totally fine, because there are some people online that no matter, because of who it's coming from, it is the right thing to do, even though I think Tim and I would aggressively say no matter who was issuing this order, we would be critical of what this order is. But Donald Trump puts out an executive order and fixes college football. Congratulations. We did it.
Totally fixed. That's all it took? That's crazy.
For those who don't know or didn't see, there's a 5-year eligibility executive order that goes out that you basically have 5 years to complete 4 years of college football, college sports, I should say, eligibility. And inside of those 5 years, you get one free transfer, which I believe was an original intention of the rule until that got thrown out in court. And then it goes into effect on August 1st. So Badunga and Jalen Harrelson are not impacted by this. It goes into effect. So that is the what's on paper executive order. It's a little bit like Tommy Tuberville's senator. He was writing a bill to do this.
Yeah.
Shockingly, there are programs, including Indiana University, who put out a statement thanking the current administration for doing this and putting this out there and giving us clear direction and all those type of things. But the real ball knowers know, regardless of what political party is issuing these orders, and who you voted for in a presidential election and identity politics and tribalism and all that fun stuff, this is never going to stand.
Yeah.
Completely
This is
thrown out.
I had to go pull it up because I was like, what was the IU tweet? It joins the Big Ten Conference in appreciation of the White House's commitment to the future of college sports, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's barely even a thanks. It's like good effort because you basically are right. Goes into effect August 1st. I'm going to say August 1st by 9:05. It will already have been thrown out in court and everybody given temporary restraining orders from its enforcement because there's no way that this can be enforced. It violates all kinds of antitrust clauses. This is the problem that we have, which is you can't tell Joe Schmo regular student or the athlete, you can only transfer once, but all the other regular students get to transfer as much as they want. And all the other regular students get to have a job and get paid. This is how we've gotten here, which was that, yes, the entire time they have been exclusionary and violating these laws. That's how this stuff has gotten thrown out. Why we have NIL now, at least. Like, none of this is ever going to actually happen until we get a collectively bargained players and member institutions of the NCAA. Like, that's the only way we ever actually get to anything like this. This is just a throwaway on a piece of toilet paper from the White House, unfortunately.
So I want to read this tweet that came out, and it's a little bit long, so sorry for those who, if you're watching on video, I'm going to share it so you can read faster than me, and if you are listening on podcast, you get it's from NIL, not NLI. Not about bashing individuals here, but Jay Billis has done more to destroy our unique, world-class collegiate athletic system than nearly anyone, particularly when he spouts the tired nonsense we all saw earlier today. Which he had commentary on NIL and paying players. He became social media famous by basically searching the NCAA website and turning that into a crusade that is dismantling one of the best educational opportunities this great country has ever seen, all under the fake guise of player advocacy that he knows really only benefits a select few. He ignores the fact that universities are quite literally bankrupting themselves to avoid irrelevance in this horrible and unsustainable new system he helped create and keeps pushing. As said here, often Division I basketball and football fans' distrust and dissatisfaction at an all-time high, and his tired reliance on TV ratings does nothing to fix the massive discontent. Everyone hates the current NCAA trajectory except for the few like Billis who profit from this chaos. He's apparently using his massive platform to provide legal cover for a unionization push from which he will undoubtedly financially benefit. College sports belong to the schools, students, and the fans, not the lawyers trying to bill their way into the headlines. I wanted to share that in its totality because it might be one of the dumbest takes I have seen about insane. The NIL era online. I read that and I'm like, I'm going to rant on the podcast this morning. And here goes my rant is the fact that college universities who make up the NCAA have the ability to fix all of this tomorrow. And he literally says he ignores the fact, talking about Jay Billis, that universities are quite literally bankrupting themselves to avoid irrelevances in this horrible, unsustainable new system. No one is forcing these universities to pay what they are paying. No one is.
Zero people.
Because they are so bad at running fiscally sound businesses, which is essentially what your athletic department is and always has been. It's just been really good at exploiting labor. Like the Banana Republic and the 1950s fascist governments are jealous of what college sports used to be, of looking at predominantly minority people making up your workforce and not paying them a dime. Old white guys, essentially, making millions off of the backs of 18 to 22-year-olds. And again, I might point out, because of the history of our country, minorities. And we are sitting here saying that the current system is so evil because whoever this person roots for, university, is going bankrupt and supposedly never has a chance to win sports. In sports, a game.
Literally not not really actually part of the core part of your institution that you're talking about. We're talking about
game.
Higher education. This is about teaching and learning. Like, this is not, the sports is just like a fun little offshoot. Just like let's have some fun for a little bit. Like, you do not need, nobody is making you, like, legitimately, the Ivy League does not give out scholarship or like give out like pay NIL. Like, you can just be like, there are schools that don't have a football team. They just don't. They're not bankrupting themselves. Go ahead and get out of the business if you're not good at it. You can't make money from it. Then bye. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
It'll be okay.
And and I want to point out, the NCAA are these universities and presidents.
Yep.
They are just the lobbying group of, and I'm not saying Pam Whitten is the one that's like being bad here, but I'm just, for relevance to IU fans, they are Pam Whitten. They are the university presidents who make up their voting body. It's all a collective group. And the lawyer comment is because the NCAA keeps fighting these rules. And if you've already checked out because you're like, oh, Tim and Trent, these bunch of liberals that are just criticizing President Trump, I might remind you, Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, go read his, like, the majority, it was 9-0, so it was a completely unanimous decision, and he absolutely just destroys the NCAA's labor practices. And the reason why this executive order is going to lose is not because of the libs. This executive order is going to lose because a conservative judge looks at this and goes, this is not capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually like extremely easy to see, but everybody within the broader sort of higher education industry is just trying to continue to hold on to as much power as they can for as long as they can and control. Like, that's all this is. Like, nobody is forcing anybody to give anybody millions of dollars in NIL. It's really not. But it is a somewhat free market system. And if you believe in capitalism and not socialism, then if somebody wants to give somebody $5 million to be in front of their auto dealership and do autographs a couple Saturdays of the year, and then also happen to just play football up the road, then so be it, right? Like, that's exactly it. This is the funniest thing. Like, I'm highlighting parts of this post because it's so funny. Turning this into a crusade that is dismantling one of the best educational opportunity programs this great country has ever seen. It is not one of the great educational opportunity programs of this country. What are you talking about? Do you know how many sports even give before NIL? Even gave full scholarships? Not many. It was basically football and men's basketball, maybe baseball in some parts of the country.
Women's basketball because of Title IX. Because of Title IX.
Right. But like, you had to, right, because of Title IX. But like, there are plenty of people that are like track and field athletes that do not have full scholarships. They might have like a quarter scholarship. The greatest educational opportunity program this country's ever seen has been the GI Bill. What are you talking about, you idiots? Like, then let's not talk about the other things that are getting dismantled in terms of educational opportunity, but whatever. There are so few people are actually college athletes on a scholarship by any means. And then everyone hates the current NCAA trajectory. No.
I like watching it get dismantled. Really, it's great.
No, there are like things I don't like, but you know what else I didn't like? I didn't like the fact that the college football national championship was decided on by a bunch of Associated Press writers. That was dumb. They didn't play for a championship until 20 years ago.
The only way Notre Dame can win a title.
Right. He's apparently using his massive platform to provide legal cover for, like, what are you talking about? Billis is like a lawyer by trade, but like, he makes his money being an analyst on ESPN. Like, he doesn't really practice law a ton. He has not represented a single student athlete in any legal court. Like, so what are you, like, you don't actually even understand what you're talking about. There are law firms out there that are absolutely making all kinds of money off of it. But again, just as you pointed out, Trent, you were correct. Trent was right. Hashtag Trent was right. These things would not happen if the NCAA would just merely stop trying to enforce its illegal laws and rules. Like,
yes,
the NCAA could just go, yep, you got us. We were wrong. Change the rules. And then they wouldn't have all these legal battles. But yet, here they are, still trying to hold on to whatever they can.
And again, As I said at the beginning of my rant, tomorrow college sports can get fixed, and it gets fixed. And I don't even have to get to the point of collective bargaining. The university can just employment contract the crap out of all these players, write in buyout contracts, write in penalties, and they can legally do that. The reason why there's Darian Mensah going to Miami and there's no repercussion for that is because the NIL contracts are not employment contracts and they're not enforceable in court.
Right.
Where Indiana University tomorrow can make Josh Hoover an employee of the university and write into there that he has a buyout clause and, he's financial penalty, has payback all of his money, all that type of stuff. They can do that. The reason they don't want to do that is because they do not want more money going to the athletes. They want the money going to the coaches and the athletic directors and the university presidents and the people that are in power. It is mind-numbing to me, the stupidity at which people are approaching this, thinking that the players and them getting paid in NIL is the problem when it gets fixed overnight if universities would just nut up and do it. The reason why they don't do it is because then when they become employees, they can collective bargain and they can get more money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anytime you see tweets like this or whatever, just know whether they're truly shilling, like he's accusing Jay Billis doing, shilling for the power structures that be, or they're just too stupid to understand what is actually happening.
Yeah. No, and listen, he's the only thing that guy or gal, I don't know who runs that account, but like the only thing I write about is Jay Billis has been on a crusade. Yeah, he's been on that crusade for 20 years. You're not wrong. Like he has been doing that for a long time.
You mentioned it a couple weeks ago or a couple of podcasts ago. Yeah.
But hey, did you not see what just happened with Tommy Lloyd from Arizona basketball this weekend?
Yeah.
He's in the Final Four, being highly rumored to be taking the job at UNC. Of course, a coach can transfer anytime he wants because
crazy.
He has an employment contract. And so what did he do to the school? Where's the loyalty? Oh, he then got leverage so he could A, get a raise, and then B, the best part, said, I don't report to the athletic director anymore.
Yes.
Nobody's in charge of me. I run this ship. And listen, good on Tommy Lloyd, man. Buddy. That's the system you're in. Like, you get to get the leverage. You have success. Like, the whole thing. Like, I have no problem with Tommy Lloyd doing it. But don't be mad when a player transfers and then be like, well, coaches can kind of come and go wherever we want. If we want to fire a coach, we fire a coach. If we want to hire a new coach and pay his buyout, then we do that. Like, then you just don't get to have it both ways. You really don't. It is the same thing.
All right, let's talk about Indiana football, a team that has taken advantage of all these rules, and good on them because everyone else had the opportunity to take advantage, and they didn't take advantage as well as Kurt Sinetti did. So let's talk about what's going on. But first, I want to talk about something personal. I am driving down a road, Washtenaw Avenue here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I look to my left, and I see our brand new Chick-fil-A that doesn't have a drive-through, by the way. It's just a walk-in Chick-fil-A with curbside. It is the craziest parking lot in the world because it's the same type of traffic for drive-through, but they have like 17 curbside spots.
Wild.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Okay.
Interesting.
I look to my left and I see, or actually, I'll give Marissa credit. She's like, what is Indiana's bus doing here? And it is Indiana football national champions bus in Ann Arbor, Michigan, right by the Chick-fil-A. I'm driving. Marissa's like, we got to take pictures of this. We like turn around. I get back. And as I get out of my car, it starts to drive away. I think it sensed I was coming because I was definitely going to go up and be like, can I see the trophy? It drives away. It goes down. It goes on the road, Washtenaw Avenue, towards the big house. Tim, I looked online. No visit in Ann Arbor scheduled. I texted people that I know around the university. Mm-hmm. No one knew anything of it or why it's in here. What? Let's wildly speculate. Why was it in Ann Arbor, Michigan?
I am going to be right now, Control T, new tab. IU football recruits state of Michigan.
Ooh, that's a good call. That's a good call.
Like, who is in the greater Michigan area, Detroit, Ann Arbor,
There is
et
one
cetera?
recruit. I
Because-
can't remember his name.
Because you're right. Like, I'm looking at the press release from IU Athletics, right? The National Championship Trophy Tour going all across the state of Indiana. Cool. Like, awesome. I hope to catch it on the 9th while it's here in Indianapolis. March 31st, Gary, Indiana. Oh, heck yeah. April 2nd, IU South Bend. That's great. Today is April 5th. The next one is April 7th in Kokomo, Indiana.
Yeah.
So that bus had 5 days in between, and it's taken a little detour up north. And so I hope to God that Kurt Signetti was like, I want you to send that to whatever high school, whatever else. I'm going to text that coach to the player, be like, guess what you get to be a part of when you come to Indiana? Walk outside the parking lot, and there's that national championship trophy, like right in Michigan's face. I mean, granted, Michigan also has the title from 2 years ago. It's not like it's that old yet, but it is an incredible move if that's the case. It also could just be like something stupid, like, oh, that's a bus company, so they have to go, they're taking it back and they're switching out a driver or something. Like, and it's just who knows? There could be like an actual legitimate reason, but wild that bus is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, wrapped with the like stickers and everything of IU football national champions, 16-0.
Yeah.
What a sight to see.
I mean, Kyle Whittingham ended up at the Final Four last night. I wondered if Kurt was like, "Hey, Kyle, welcome to the Big Ten. Do you want to ride down to Indianapolis on us?" Gave him a ride down there.
We'll get you a ride down.
I was, I mean, obviously it's crazy. Like secretly, I was like, "Is it going to my house?" Do I pull up when I get back to my house? Will the bus just be sitting outside? Did I win some?
If it was like a TV show from the early 2000s on ABC, it was like Home Makeover, but it was like Kurt Signetti rolled out and was like, Trent McGee, we saw you on Kirkwood and Dunn, and you're a big fan. Welcome aboard the championship bus. And there's cameras there, and you're just like, oh my God, yeah.
I mean, obviously, if we weren't on that side of town, I would never have seen it. I would have never known. And
That's
I have
crazy,
not seen anything. I'm actually surprised my tweet hasn't gone more viral, and not in the sense of like I think the problem was I told Marissa, I was like, if we could have got behind it and it was going towards the big house and got a picture of it in front of us with the big house to the right, that probably would have gone viral. But I was actually surprised at that it wasn't picked up more. It wasn't talked about. Marissa and I were driving around. We're like, is there like a donor? That like a big donor that lives in Ann Arbor or something like that they, brought it up for. So, but I like there is a Michigan kid, and I'm not going to search for it. There's a Michigan kid that is high on their list that they could have been sending it to. Someone said online they should send it to every Big Ten city.
That's great.
Just get pictures of it. Like that's remember when the Duck
just take
went
it to Columbus, baby.
And got on Heps Rock? We just take the bus everywhere.
Imagine like that bus traveling all the way out to Rutger. Like, this is sad.
Yeah.
This is a long drive for nothing.
Rutger. Like that wouldn't do any, like no reaction from the one Rutger fan that's out there. All right. So news and notes in spring practice. As a reminder, we talked about this in a couple episodes ago, but I want to remind before we share Signetti's comments.
Stats are stats. And I think, you look for us, and I think Josh started 31 games here as a quarterback, and he turned the ball over 42 times in those 31 starts.
So that was Sonny Dykes talking about Josh Hoover at TCU, and here's what Signetti had to say.
I think the great thing is I'm excited about Josh, first of all. Let's be clear about that. And he's got a body of work in terms of winning football games, passing yards, touchdown passes. Got to clean up some of the turnovers, obviously, which Coach Dykes made light of. But, when Josh got here, he met his two new best friends. Great defense and a really good run game. And he was never the same after that.
Wink.
If you're watching on the video podcast, you have to watch on Spotify or YouTube, but there is a great wink after he makes that last comment. We talked about this earlier. Dan Hurley's an asshole, but Curt Cignetti is smirky, smartass, like that type of thing. He is just bodying. Is Michigan State, now TCU, just bodying other football programs in the press conference? What was your reaction when that came out online?
I loved it. This is the thing now, right? Like, everybody else is going to hate Curt Cignetti talking trash. They really hated it when he hadn't, quote unquote, won anything yet. But they're really going to hate it now that he has won it and is justified in making all of these comments. It's every other coach is just playing into Curt Cignetti's hands. Like, okay, Sonny Dykes, you're an idiot. This was my reaction last week when that came out. It was like, you don't win with that. No player is like, can't wait to go to TCU now. And now all Curt Cignetti has to do is get Josh Hoover to not throw 30 picks, which, like, he's going to get him to do. And he's going to look better for it. And he's going to go, it helps every other pitch to be like, yeah, look, I'm way better than all these other coaches, not only because I've won, but look how I fix all of these players. So, like, you're going to get better when you come here. Thank you for the gift on a silver platter, Sonny Dykes.
Yeah, it's one of those that we dove into it a lot last week, but he's not wrong about the two best friends. Like, it is when you're not all just relying on that one player to make every move or every pass or every perfect play, things don't have to spiral out of control. Like, TCU fans immediately came to Sonny Dykes' defense when Cignetti made those comments of like, oh man, when the first 2 interception game hits, it's going to be like crack, right? Like, he had multiple multi-interception games. Well, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but you know what? If the guy throws 1 interception in a key spot because he makes a bad read, Cignetti's not going to force feed the ball like your dumbass offensive coordinator kept doing last year.
Right.
So
it's just the stupidest comments.
All right, so this is the Indiana hype video that came out this week, cursive Indiana football. It's a minute long. You'll just kind of hear some comments on here, but I do want to talk really quick about some of the things that maybe stood out in this video.
Kind of treat every practice sort of like it's a game. You know, we got 13 practices and try to prepare the same way in terms of the things we demand on the practice field.
I mean, it's just day in and day out. We fall in love with the process and more so not the result. So, you know, we get 1% better every day and we just, you know, restart the process. I mean, last year was last year and it was amazing. But now, you know, it's time to do that all over.
Because, like I said, last year doesn't affect how this year's going to go. So, you know, we have to get better and work on feet and eyes. You know, you're either getting better or you're getting worse, like Cignetti says. So we got to get better this spring and then continue that into fall camp.
A Academy Award-winning short film, in my mind.
They do a really good job.
Elite filmmaking.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out, like, go follow Indiana football on Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff. They do a really good job. Okay, so a couple things. Sorry for the awkwardness coming back there because it said I was disconnected, but I'm glad it kept playing. Tyler Cherry. Did you see Tyler Cherry in there? Running the RPO?
A little keeper, little runner, which is good. I mean, it's spring practice. He's wearing a black jersey. They're not going to touch him at all. But the fact that, I would say the biggest thing is that, like, he was clearly in an 11-on-11 drill, 11-on-11 practice segment, and was, like, keeping it and trying to run. Like, who knows where he's at in terms of his health and his progress. But the fact that he's out there dressed, running plays, running a run play for a quarterback is a really positive sign. I mean, if we're at a point where Tyler Cherry's playing, like, then the season's not going very well. But this is a very positive sign for what his potential is for the future for IU football.
Well, I'll take that. I mean, I will have a commentary there. I think Tyler Cherry, if he's our backup quarterback and he's playing quite a bit, it means that Curt Cignetti's doing Curt Cignetti things, which is being up by 40 in the third quarter.
Oh, let's hope. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When it was Birdo time, like, now it's going to be Tyler time. Right. I think it will be a positive sign for me. And remember, Tino Sinceri recruited Tyler Cherry. Like, it will be a
Yeah.
positive sign to me if Tyler Cherry is our number 2 quarterback for our development. It's such a mixed reaction of the fan base to these type of things. Like, remember when there was times when, I was like, keep Alberto. I know he's on your overhype list, but let's keep Alberto because you can spend the money elsewhere on the roster, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, Signetti wants experience. He wants guys that have played ball and like all this stuff. And then you'll have another part of the fan base is like, oh, Tyler Cherry or Jacob Bell, great seeing them. Let's keep them playing. And like, I'd love to see them play minutes. And it's like, okay, well, Signetti either only will bring in experienced game starting quarterbacks or your experience or you want to develop quarterbacks. So everything says Signetti, if Tyler Cherry is quote unquote the guy next year after Josh Hoover goes in the top 5 of the draft, everything tells us he will go find a transfer quarterback, right?
Maybe. The only thing that it would make me think otherwise, which is that Curt Signetti, for sure, now, especially now, right, has job security for the lifetime. He's getting paid, everything else. So maybe there was a world for the past 8 years when Curt Signetti was taken in a transfer quarterback, whatever else. It was all about him trying to climb the ladder, getting the best possible version of that team for that year and worrying about next year, and worrying about the quarterback in 2 years, and just like kicking the can down the road a little bit. There could be a world where after Josh Hoover goes that like he is willing to roll the dice on a guy that hasn't started yet, but he's been working with in practice and has seen, and we see how it goes. Because if it's bad, fine, whatever. It's not like he's going to get fired or anything else. So that's the only thing that I think right now changes about Curt Signetti is that, well, his job security right now is very, very different than what it was even 8 months ago. I think there was a world where just off of the 2024 season, he sticks around in Indiana for a long time and they keep him around. But like, especially now, he's statue material. Like it's good. So I could see a world where he changes his pathway and his strategy because of the job security he has.
This is why you should watch on YouTube or Spotify because you noted Tyreek Tucker's arms are bigger than maybe our torsos.
Oh, Jesus. Tyreek Tucker.
Ginormous.
My God.
Yeah.
Those things are huge.
Yeah. Hoosier Review pointed out a screenshot of Davion Chandler catching an incredible catch in that video surrounded by, looks like to be the number 1 secondary, Jamie Jordan said. And Tim, I asked you, are you concerned about our secondary and their ability to defend a pass?
I would against this wide receiver core. This is the best wide receiver core in the country.
Yeah. No.
I
know Davion Chandler is like,
right.
LeBron Bond came out of spring camp or fall camp of everyone like that guy's going to get minutes. Davion Chandler ended up at the end of the season having more. And then don't forget that we have Tyler Morris coming back as well. Shaz Preston coming in. Like Shaz Preston probably gets forgotten about a lot. Like some player, like we're so deep at the receiving.
It's what is really, well, this is a whole segment for another preview episode as we get closer to the season. But I'm really interested in the contrast from the depth at the wide receiver position and what definitely seems like not much depth from a tight end position. And hopefully Brock Schott is able to play and be good, but like there's not much there at all, really. Hopefully it's Brock Schott and whatever else. So what does the offense look like? Heavy on the wide receivers. I bet we're heavy on explosive plays. Because that's where the talent is. That's where the strengths of the teams are. This is going to be a really, really interesting 2026 team.
Also, I should shout out Jackson Wasserstrom. He's a walk-on. He had a ridiculous catch in one of the highlight videos, and he's a walk-on, redshirt senior walk-on, which is insane. And there's also Cortez Rupert, who came out of East St. Louis, and Lamar Keys also coming in. And then let's not forget, there's a name. I was looking for it, so I was buying some time by dropping some incoming students. Is Miles Kendrick was from Jacksonville, Florida, was in last year's class with Davion Chandler and LeBron Bond. He was a lot of people are like, he's the best receiver in the class. He got an injury, didn't really get to play last year. He didn't play at all last year. And he stuck around. And that tells me, like, when players stick around and in a very easy free transfer portal, and Indiana football coaching staff can look at you and go, like, you're not going to make it here. Go find somewhere else. He stuck around. So this receiving class is very, very deep. Sure, it's not the 5 stars. It's not the Chris Henrys of the world that's happening at Ohio State. But our development and Mike Shanahan's ability to coach them up is impressive. All right, Tim. Just one note. We had a whole section on Kevontae Huggin last week. Back on the roster.
Okay, great. Welcome back.
We're done. Yeah, welcome back.
Hope whatever you had to go do was what you needed to get done, and who knows? Maybe it was the web team just made a dummy error on the website.
We wouldn't know because our media didn't ask Kurt Signetti about it.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. Hey.
Yeah, and honestly, like, if let's say it was Indiana's decision to remove him from the roster at any given point, we don't know for sure, but if that was the case, this feels like you think you're bigger than the program type situation. Like, we have no problem telling you to go home.
Yeah.
It's what it feels like. That's, again, speculation.
Who knows what it is, but again, but this is the same thing that we said last week, which is he probably wasn't, as a true freshman on the defensive line, wasn't going to be playing a big role for this season as it is. So this is development opportunity, and hopefully for 2027, Kevontae is a huge piece of that.
All right. Fan comments. You can comment on YouTube and Spotify. We try to react to as many things as we can. We appreciate you all commenting. There was one question that I wanted to drag into this episode and ask Tim, which IU player would you add to the Raiders roster with Mendoza? Let's make it realistic, because obviously Omar Cooper, we don't suspect, would be there for the Raiders' next pick. So let's start with outside of him.
I will add this, though. I will add this one thing, right? As we look at the NFL draft coming up in a couple weeks, I think Omar Cooper Jr. probably can go anywhere from like 16 to 24. The Raiders can trade up from 33, their second round pick, right, to go get a guy if they feel like that's an important opportunity. It would be Elijah Surratt, actually, which seems way more reasonable for them to allocate like a 3rd or 4th round pick. And it was the best thing that the Indiana offense had with Surratt was that when it was 3rd and 6, fade route to Surratt, and him and Mendoza knew exactly where to go, exactly when to cut it off the route, when to get your hands and head turned around for the ball. And that's huge, right? The relationship with the wide receivers is huge, but I think different than what Omar Cooper Jr. can do from an explosive opportunity is, let me know the guy that I know is going to catch the ball where he's exactly always going to be. And that seemed to be the strength of what the Surratt role was in the offense last year with Mendoza. So that would be who I would try to pair with him to make sure he's as successful as he can be.
And I will add to that, the only other name I would put there is Riley Nowakowski, because he seemed to be like a release valve for Mendoza. Like, he found them just kind of like Surratt did on the outsides. Like, he would be able to, I think about the Big Ten championship game, and there's, Caden Curry coming right at Mendoza, and he finds Riley Nowakowski to convert a 4th and 1. It's one of those things that you want the players that are the most comfortable with your quarterback, and those two guys are there. Shout out KCOT IU on YouTube for dropping that comment for us. Good. Yeah, we appreciate that. Okay, so let's move on to something that got brought to my attention that Tim does not know I am bringing up, and we got to check in on this.
Getting the freaking like banner that we would make for that national championship team tattooed on me in like 6 places. Like, I would need it on both arms. I'd probably need like a nice neck tattoo of that. Like, I would get like an ankle tattoo. Doesn't matter. I would put it everywhere.
Yeah,
if we won the national title.
It's a content idea right there. I like that. I like that. Are you going on record right now that if Indiana wins the national championship, you will get a tattoo? We are video recording this too, so like
that's not a good idea.
This is gonna get clipped.
My mouth is writing checks that I can't cash. No, I'm not gonna go on record. No, maybe. But like,
I marked that clip, by the way. I am totally cutting that up and being like, will Tim get a tattoo?
Yeah, that would be, I don't know. I'm not a tattoo guy. I'm a blank canvas, okay? As white as can be.
All right, Tim.
Selective editing there. Selective editing. Because if I remember that episode very well, I said I would do it if also Indiana basketball won the national title. And then I would get like double tattoos.
No, you did not say that. This was in response. No, like, trust me. I
remember that though. But like,
we can look at it is Boiler to Bucknuts or something like that, or the episode before it. It's on YouTube. It's our first video podcast. It's you getting a tattoo as the thumbnail. So if you want to go look for it, but nope.
Yeah,
this was about it. And by the way, like, I just want to point out to everyone, Tim said in the thing he wasn't going to commit to getting a tattoo.
I wasn't actually going to do it, no.
But we wanted to check in to see if Tim is going to get a tattoo because he made that proclamation in November, and we just wanted to see.
No, but it was a proclamation. I also walked back 12 seconds later when I said I was not going to do it. So no, the answer is no.
It was such a long pause. You were like,
yeah.
No, I'm
not actually going to do this. No. No, I got the wall art. I got the wall art for the behind the thing. That's what I got.
Again, that's been with Kirkwood and Dunn since the beginning, and those are usually just kind of our friend circles, our fantasy baseball league, which we won't talk about in today's episode because Tim's going to beat me again this week. Is basically there's a lot of things we said before video podcast that I really can't go back and capture.
No.
So that was our first one that went on the record that Tim was like, is he going to get a tattoo? So we wanted to check in with that. All right. For TB Hoosiers, you can find Tim at TB Hoosiers on Twitter, me at ST McGee on Twitter, and go check that out. You can follow everything at Kirkwood and Dunn. Wednesday, let's see what Wednesday's ranking. Let's tease a little bit, Tim, what Wednesday's ranking is going to be. Or if you're like, at this moment, that sounds terrible, let's not do that, which is totally possible. We can skip it. Okay, so our ranking would be either, I'll give you an option here. 10 college basketball players you would bring back, like to add to Indiana's roster right now. So like players that are no longer there, the top 10. Or 10 college football games you're looking forward to in the fall. Or another one that we missed, 10 worst fan bases to lose to.
10 worst fan bases to lose to. Easy.
All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 10 worst fan bases to lose to because Tim and I live online. And if we lost to these fan bases, it would be absolutely miserable for us during that week. And we might be experiencing that this week with Michigan or UConn winning the national championship and watching them take their victory laps for a couple days. So that will be Wednesday. We will be recording that. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.